A summer's day here, 31 degrees in Melbourne, basking the MCG in sunshine. Halftime entertainment. Have you ever heard of the Coodabeens champions? Here they are, centre stage.
I'm Dippy at the medico, Dippy at the medico, ho ho. I go in hard and I leave them sore. Been reported 7 times before.
And everyone was an accident.
Accident.
Just a case of bad luck.
And I'm always ready to have a go. I'm Dippy at the medico. I'm Dippy at the medico, spreading trouble wherever I go. I'm a part of the Hawthorn staff, been a hawk for a long, long while.
I've never played for Essendon.
Essendon.
Never was a swan nor a cat.
I'm Robert Dippy at the medico. I'm Dippy, take that. I'm Dippy at the medico. How you spell that, I don't know. I like pouring into packs and breaking up opposition attacks.
I'm never violent deliberately.
Deliberately.
I just get carried away.
I'm Dippy, Dippy at the medico, and that's how I'll stay.
I thought football was more or less an easy thing. Tough for someone else, not for me. What's the use in trying? All you get is pain. Not for those who have a football brain. I create the space. I'm a receiver. It's just a case. Using your mind, I run wide. I'm a receiver of the side. Way down in Oval Raven, there's a great spearhead. He's the one that's always worn the black, white, and red. Now some may say he looks a little overfed, but he can bag a sausage roll while he's standing on his head. Used to have a reputation for having a go, but the umpies must have liked him cause he won the Brownlow.
Go, go! Go, Lockett, go, go, go! Go, Lockett, go, go, go! Lockett be good.
He used to practice with a chewed up plastic football. He used to kick it through the window from the time he was small. His mama used to feed him on cream buns and steak, saying this'll build you up for all the knocks you will take. He used to live in Melbourne, but he didn't like that, so he packed his bags and went back home to Ballarat.
Go, go! Go, Lockett, go, go, go! Go, Lockett, go, go, go! Lockett be good.
The Coodabeens champions, and I'll be back a little later on.
And the Coodabeens champions sounding great here today at the MCG. If you're viewing in New South Wales or up in Darwin and you've never heard of them, well, I suppose it might be a bit of an in-joke with some of the players they sing about, but they've been a terrific cult following this year.
Well, they were fantastic then, and centre stage at the Grand Final for the Coodabeens, they couldn't have done it any better.
No. On the boundary line, we have Ian Robertson and Peter G.
Well, I guess I've replaced Coodabeen champion Tony Leddard doing the boundary line reports, and interesting to note the Coodabeens came out on those machines that you see out there in the oval and the hovercraft, and Tony's was noticeably down lower than the rest of the Coodabeens. But action on the Hawthorn bench, which I've been watching, Robbo, has been fast and furious with Morris and Tucky in the hands of the doctors. Things a bit quieter over there on the Carlton bench.
Well, I think they were a bit concerned early when Johnston came off, but he apparently has got split webbing in his hand, and it wasn't a concern. The doctor had a quick look at it, and he was back on the ground within a few seconds, basically.
But he didn't really get a touch in that second quarter.
No, he looks as though he's really favouring the hand. I mean, he was really desperate. He threw himself into it early. I think he's kicked a couple of goals, which were very crucial. He got the Blues off to a good start.
Well, just looking at Tucky, the doctor was looking in very closely, checking that his vision was okay. He was ashen-faced. They had trouble stopping the blood. When they did that, the colour came back to his face, and he ran out. But Morris, we won't see any more of him this afternoon. Really dangerous to give him a game.
Well, I think it was a terrible move on behalf of Hawthorn, because they've been so used to putting 20 guys in the field that have a go, and Morris just wasn't ready for it. He just wasn't. I mean, you mentioned before about Peter Dean playing so well early because Morris couldn't move. You were going to say something also about the conditions down here, Peter.
Yeah,
the swirling breeze. It's obvious they're getting good distance with their kicks, but it's very difficult to understand the wind blowing around the MCG.
Okay, let's go back up to central commentary.
And coming up now, the return of the grand final sprint, a 100-metre dash with all clubs represented except the two taking part in the grand final. And the field is Tony Beckett representing the Brisbane Bears, Terry Keys of Collingwood, Essendon fullback Brian Winton, a big man running, Richard Osborne, a real dasher for Fitzroy, Footscray Mosquito, Angelo Petraglia, Michael Cole of Geelong, the rampaging bull, Rhino Richards of Melbourne, Brett Allison of North Melbourne, David Palm of Richmond, Tony Evans, who played in the reserves grand final, is out for another go, Adrian Barrich all the way across the Nullarbor representing the West Coast Eagles, and Grant Bartholomew is representing the Swans. Of course, Hawthorn's Jeff Ablett dominated this event over many years, and we're looking for a new champion in 1987. So over on the far side, it's Keys of Collingwood, Beckett, Winton, Cole, Petraglia, Allison, Richards, Palm, Bartholomew, Barrich, and just coming into the picture is Evans, who certainly had a good hit out today. Great day for sprinters, because distance runners like the cool and don't like the heat, but the sprinters like it warm so that the muscles are nice and supple and there's not the risk of pulling hamstrings and what have you. Is it a standing start for Evans? Yes, it is. They're set in the grand final sprint. And away they go. Palm got out well, so did Keys, and Richards gets to the front. Richards from Palm, Bartholomew, Barrich and Keys. Russell Richards in front, Palm trying hard, but Richards hangs on and wins. Palm second, Keys third. In the grand final sprint, Russell Richards is the sprinting champion of the VFL. In control after the first 20 metres and ran a very controlled 100 to win with a little bit in hand. Richards, I think Palm and Keys might have taken the minors, but number 20 of Melbourne, a minor glory for the Demons after the enormous disappointment of last week. Richards in control, Palm a good strong second, and over on the far side Keys hanging on, Cole coming at him, but Richards, Palm and Keys it is, and Russell Richards on grand final day wins applause from the 100,000 strong crowd at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. And we might be getting a word with him shortly.
And what about a nice hand for the Speedo girls?
He will be presented with a prize for winning the event. If you've been out driving or what have you, playing golf, during the first half of the match, the half-time score is Carlton 6-8-44 to Hawthorn 4-9-33. The Blues leading by 11 points. And one winner today is Russell Richards. Other winners, Carlton in the reserves against St Kilda, and North Melbourne by 5 points against Richmond in the under-19s, and the Demons having their moment of glory. Had a couple of great moments during this final series and could so well have been here today playing Carlton in the grand final.
Russell Richards on Melbourne first. Terry Keys on Collingwood second.
In fact, Keys taking second placing and Palm third, but Richards a decisive winner.
Come up here on the dais and present the cheques, and of course the gold medallion to Speedo gold medallion to Russell Richards, and the silver medallion to Terence Keys, and the bronze medallion to David Palm. Second place getter, Terence Keys of Collingwood. And the bronze medallion.
So David Palm takes the bronze behind Russell Richards and Terry Keys.
Thank you, John. Okay, thank you to Speedo.
three good, solid senior players and top sprinters.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you like to hear from the Coodabeens champions again? Of course you would. Just when you didn't say that, they're all prepared. Here they are. Give them a big welcome back on stage, the Coodabeens champions. Here we go with another tune.
Essendon boys don't shave. I really love the black and red. And the Hawthorn boys in the brown and gold don't know defeat until they're dead. A Midwest Footscray Rover wears a jockstrap clean and white. And the Sydney Swans, when they take the field, they wear their footy shorts so tight.
I wish they all could play for St Kilda. I wish they all could play for St Kilda. I wish they all could be St Kilda boys.
The Magpies have supporters and the Lions have a lair. But Trevor Barker's got the cutest face, a golden tan and peroxide hair. I've seen every game at the MCG and I've known all shapes and size. But St Kilda boys have the best physiques, the bulging muscles and rippling thighs.
I wish they all could play for St Kilda. I wish they all could play for St Kilda. I wish they all could be St Kilda boys.
Keep punching!
Well, the Coodabeens champions. I suppose their biggest crowd was at a pub night or a quiz night or something like that. 100,000 people. What a day they've had. John Nichols, welcome into centre stage.
Good, this hot day. I'm glad we're up here, not down there, because the heat must be enormous for those competitors.
Well, did you ever play footy in temperatures like this, above 30?
Yes, but not. It comes as a shock. You expect it in March in the pre-season work, pre-season practice games, but in September you should be. But the last few years we've been getting odd wet days, and certainly it's going to be a real test of courage and a test of who's got the most run in their legs as the last quarter comes around.
Well, I know that in this season of you working for us as an expert commentator, you'll be watching the game totally unbiased. But how do you think your boys, the Blues, went?
Well, I'm being objective, and I think that we played well. We let Hawthorn back into it, but Hawthorn are such a great side that you just never write them off. 25 minutes in the first quarter, Carlton, it was all Carlton's quarter, yet they kicked Kennedy 2 goals. I felt one of Platten's free kick was a bit lucky, but still that's the way it goes. 4 goals in 5 minutes. That's the premiership minutes of every quarter, really, in time on.
In fact, really, that was about the only time the Hawks got a bit of a run on. They scored all their goals in that time on period in the first term.
Yes, but that second quarter, they're going in slow motion, so I reckon those players by the end of this quarter and the last quarter, they're going to be very tired and hot.
All right, Nick, the players are back out on the ground, really looking forward to it. It might be slow motion wrestling towards the end. They might have finished with about 14 fit men each, I reckon.
It's 2 great sides.
OK, back to central commentary, and here again is Tim.
Thanks, Drew. Carlton by 11 points with the start of the second half not too far away, and interesting to note that Russell Morris is out there for Hawthorn, as they were having a jog around the ground, but not too much jogging going on. I don't think they need much warming up for the second half, and this is going to be one grueling last hour. I think it could be quite a unique grand final with 2 great teams. They've distinguished themselves as being clearly better than the others in the competition, although Hawthorn had to fight very hard to beat off Melbourne's challenge in the preliminary final. But over the year, they've been the outstanding teams. They've come to this great stadium to fight for the flag. They both have their own reasons, even stronger than clubs normally have, I think, for wanting to win the premiership. Hawthorn, this team wanting to stamp itself as the greatest to wear the brown and gold by becoming the first ever at Glenferrie to win consecutive premierships. And the Blues, some very deep emotional reasons for wanting to win. They were beaten last year, and of course that always provides a strength the following year. But the well-documented cases of Peter Motley and Des English, very close to the hearts of their friends who are out there fighting this war for them today and trying to grab the 87 flag and take it back to Princes Park, giving Carlton its 5th premiership. And Russell Morris was out there, but now he's not. The left knee is heavily strapped, and he and Paul Deere are on the bench at the start. And I'd say number 15 might be used only in emergencies. But there could be plenty of those. With 2 quarters to go, Carlton leading by 11 points, 6-8-44 to 4-9-33. Craig Bradley broke his hand in last year's grand final and had a very bad day. And footballers say there are never excuses. And now the veteran of 8.5 grand finals, Ian Robertson, the man who probably will never play in one, watches on from the members, Robbie Flower.